Our final talk before lunch today is brought to you by the acting CEO of newly launched skincare company, Augustinus Bader. She'll be discussing launching a brand in a hugely competitive high-end skincare market and why science and influencers were the key ingredients to the company's early success. Please put your hands together for Carolyn Finn.
Hi, everyone. Wow, this is a big stage. I feel like I need a few more people up here to help me out. So thanks for coming along. And we're going to spend the next 20 minutes talking about the beauty industry and how that's changed with specific relation to how digital channels and the digital environment has changed beauty. So I am currently working for a brand called Augustinus Bader. It may be one that some of you in the audience have heard of, but hopefully will be one that you've all heard of very shortly. We only launched back in February this year. So before I get on to Augustinus Bader and share some of what we've done this year in terms of disrupting the beauty industry, I'd just like to give you a tiny bit of history about me. I have worked in the beauty industry and fashion industry for over 15 years, starting working with Estee Lauder companies, specifically the Clinique brand, which we launched the first e-commerce luxury website that was transactional in the UK in 2005. So it's been a long journey since then, and that really was working for a very traditional brand. And that was when brands in the beauty industry, it was really about who had the best counter in the best department store and who had the best presence and the best marketing spend in magazines. And things have changed completely from then. But my belief is actually that the beauty industry was kind of set up for this new revolution of influencers being key to how we reach our consumers. Because the beauty industry traditionally was always an influencer industry. It was just that the influencers had slightly different ways of reaching consumers and were, in the majority, the beauty editors for magazines. So what's been really different about the beauty industry, and we'll come on to talk about some other examples other than Augustinus Bader slightly later in the presentation, is how the beauty industry has really turned on its head, both with the traditional brands, the high street brands, who were used to competing for space in the department stores, to the real challenger brands that a lot of people actually kind of club together and call the Instagram brands. And the beauty industry has really kind of used those platforms and influencers to really knuckle down into the niche of beauty. So niche concerns, niche skin concerns, niche makeup desires, things like very trendy, it's the year of vegan, 2018, vegan makeup, cruelty-free makeup, and there are brands that can reach their consumers using digital channels very, very easily and very quickly now that we can do much more targeted advertising on digital channels. So that's a brief introduction about me, briefly about Augustinus Bader. As you can see, the beautiful Diane Kruger here, who actually we came about because Augustinus himself is a scientist with 30 years of research in wound care and healing burns. He's German, and he was working in the area of wound care, and he was challenged that would this research actually be able to be put into a cosmetic consumer-facing cream to help him basically as a cyclical approach fund research into wound care and burn care, which is actually what he is really passionate about reaching a new consumer, a new person who can't afford his normal burn care and wound care, and paying for that by the consumer product. Diane was really passionate about our project and really wanted to represent it both from the German side of things and from the side of things that she's a really respected actress. She doesn't just endorse beauty products that she just thinks are great. She endorses ones that work, and she spent a lot of time with us and using the product and actually turned around and said, yeah, you know what, this really does work. So very quickly, just to introduce you a bit more to the brand. Oh, she says. Yep, my clicker's not working. Oh, there we go.
When you're younger, you look at images of beautiful women and you try to emulate that. Once you stop thinking about trying to cover up imperfections, once you think about skin being a living organ, you see that Augustinus Bader is very different. All this cream does is tell your skin to activate the cells that it needs to replenish itself. Because I have very reactive skin, I tend to have rosacea, and that hasn't been the case with this. From the inside out, my skin feels better. My natural glow, I guess, that I was used to has come back. I have to say, I love it.
Okay, so a bit more about the product. As I said, it comes from 30 years of wound care research, and it really looks at how the product can work innately with the body's own skin cells. We were very keen to create a strategy for this product that was disruptive. We knew we had two core pillars. One, which was science. So we had to prove through our product, through reaching our consumers, that the science behind the product really worked. We have the scientists, we have the proof, and we have the people like Diane Kruger talking about how the product worked. And we did a lot of research on the beauty industry and on the brands that really are making a success at the moment and utilizing the digital channels really, really well. And we looked at, obviously, an influencer strategy and how we were going to do that and how we were going to do it a bit differently. Our core thing was we didn't want to create a scenario where we had people taking selfies with the product and holding it by their face and smiling and saying, well, I love this product, because we felt like that undermined where we were trying to get with the product. We wanted people to try the product. We wanted people to really work with us and then talk about it when it had worked for them. We had a strategy of a three-pronged influencer strategy, and I'm going to take you through that. And we also had a really deep content strategy, and I think that's really important. When you have one product, and you know you're going to have at least just that one product for at least the first year of launch, you really need to have a deep level of content that can go across every single channel that you're going to be working on. And I think that gets lost quite a lot, especially with the traditional beauty brands, where they'll make one hero advert or one hero shot, and then they'll try and repurpose those assets into the different channels. We made content specifically for each of the different channels, and one example of that is this vignette here, this product vignette showing the product. Ah, without the sound, sorry. Oh, there we go. So obviously, I don't have the time to show you every single stream of the content that we had, but there's a lot of difference in the content that we had, because we wanted to really, really stand out and show off the product as our core celebrity, as it were. And over time, when we started to get the product out there and we started to work with the different beauty magazines and beauty influencers, we started winning awards. So we also then have a stream of content that was awards heavy as well. And this wouldn't be a beauty presentation without talking about getting the product into the hands of the right people. I've just been speaking to some people backstage, including Nadia, who said, oh yes, I got that product at Cannes. That's amazing. She knew about us. This is some of the incredible press that we've had on Insta stories. In fact, on Sunday, we were on Victoria Beckham's Insta story, which for a brand that launched in February is pretty cool. And in March, actually, so a month after we'd launched, we were on Kim Kardashian's Insta story. So that's really helped us. But what we were very keen on doing is making sure that that was only one strand of what we were doing. It was one strand talking about people who definitely are using it and reaching their network and reaching their influencers, but ensuring that we actually had real people trying the product, so that basically the content funnel was filled at the top by the likes of Kim Kardashian and Victoria Beckham, and at the bottom by the likes of real people who were engaging with the product. So what we developed is 27 days. It was a campaign that looked at the 27 days as the average time it takes your skin to regenerate its skin cells. And seeing as this product naturally works with the skin and its natural regeneration, we felt that that was the core and the heart of our campaign. Also at the heart was that we were working not just with your classic early 20s beautiful model. We were looking at models from a range of ages, from a range of ethnicity, and also that we were working with males and females, because this cream really is for everybody. We also had the beautiful Jan, who I'll come on to later, who was in her 70s as well. So we were really showing that this could work for everyone. As I said, at the heart, and something that's really, really important, is not working with repurposed content to go into channels. I'm a real believer that you should, when you come up with a campaign concept, look at creating for that channel. And so we were very, very keen that when we started this 27 days campaign, we were capturing enough that would keep it super fresh, energizing, and exciting on all channels. And as you can see here, these are just some of the variations in terms of using quotes, using statistics, and some of the different sizes. This guy here was fascinating, actually. He was an Olympic rower, and he had so much sun damage to his skin that we almost went, oh, I don't know if we can, I'm not sure. You know, he's never used moisturizer. He's never really used an SPF. What are we going to do for this guy? And actually, he had almost 80% improvement on his skin. What's important to note here, actually, very specifically, is that having said that we come from a place of science, we really did not want to be another jump on the bandwagon, 3 out of 4 people said it improved their skin. We needed these statistics to mean something. So what the underlying campaign concept of 27 days was that we would get under the skin of these people. So we used a very specific skin machine that looked at the damage, which is why I know how much SPF damage he had on his skin. It's a frightening machine, by the way, and something I wish I hadn't have done. But and it will haunt me forever. But it shows you the damage that you have on your skin, and it shows very clearly and measures very clearly the impact of this one cream over the 27 days. We also produced a documentary which looks at the process of looking under the skin. And we used a director and film photographer who actually doesn't ever work in skincare. He works on the Planet Earth documentary. So he's used to looking behind the lens of, of plants and of animals. And we challenged him to look at human skin in that way and really visualize the improvement that it had on skin. As I said, we wanted to really reach all age ranges, and that's the main feedback that we've had from our consumers and on our social channels is they love her. They love Jan. And the reason they love her is she's beautiful and she's honest. And she was honest about wanting to age and wanting to embrace her aging process and not really wanting to be involved in this until we were talking about actually what you have to look at is it's not, there's a real wave in anti-aging products. It's about, embracing your natural beauty as the fashion. And we really are absolutely within that. This is about taking care of your skin like you would any of your other organs in your body. So this is the documentary. I'm not going to show it to you today, but it's definitely worth having a look if you've got some time on your hands. It's almost 9-minute documentary, really showing the beautiful camera lenses of the skin, the detail of the skin. Also, just to quickly touch on content, we had another content stream of reviews and another content stream of just underlying our scientific expertise with using, this is Augustinus himself on screen. Very quickly to summarize, what we feel like we did differently to other brands and other launches is that we absolutely knew we wanted to be digital first, which, we had that advantage. We were launching in 2018, so of course you'd have to be. We looked very much at quality versus quantity in terms of who we worked with, in terms of how we reached people. We didn't want to be a fad. We want to be around, and we want to be the #1 moisturizer in the luxury cosmetic market. We also worked with my philosophy, which is very much everybody's an influencer. So it's not just the Kim Kardashians of this world. It's absolutely the people in this room, your mums, your sisters, telling you about the cream they've used and the impact that it's had. We also, from a very small startup, essentially, decided that we were going to shout loud and be not a challenger brand, be one of the big brands straight away. And that was a mindset that we put in, and one that we were enabled to do because of the science behind what we have. Now, very, very quickly to end, I just wanted to talk about the fact that, of course, we're not the only brand disrupting the beauty industry at all. This is a really exciting time for the beauty industry, and I wanted to share a couple of examples from makeup brands that I think are doing an incredible job. I would imagine a lot of you have heard of Glossier. If you haven't, then I would encourage you to have a look at what they've done. Glossier came from Into the Gloss, a blog by Emily Weiss, and she listened to feedback on the blog of what customers felt was missing in the beauty industry, and she created product from that. She is really the kind of headline character of who has really listened to consumer advocacy and consumer conversation and created product, and she uses her audience to create the product. Most famously, I think they had an SPF product that they weren't going to launch, but the consumers were so desperate to buy it that they had a whole forum about it, and they used consumers to develop it. So one that I would definitely get you to check out. And then Beauty Pie, which again is in the UK at the moment. It's gone to the US. It's small, but I guarantee everyone here will have heard of it very, very soon. It's by the same people who are behind Soap and Glory, Fit Flop, and Beauty Pie has come from their understanding and research in the beauty industry that consumers were annoyed they were paying the premiums for luxury makeup, but not really necessarily getting the product that they were paying a lot of money for. These guys go to the factories of the same factories that Estée Lauder use, that L'Oreal use, and they develop product in the same way with the same ingredients, but they sell it at a much lower price, but they're a members club. So their value actually is their data in terms of consumers, in terms of what they buy and how they buy, and you pay a membership fee once a month to be able to access that, and it's an incredible way, it's an incredible business model, and it's a complete disruptor within the industry as we know it. Definitely worth checking out. Their products are also excellent, I have to say. So that's me. It's pretty quick, but I wanted to leave you with 3 key takeaways because I know that you're probably taking on lots of information today and have been for a few days. I know I have. And the takeaways that I would like to give you is that consumer-centric wins every time. The beauty industry used to be about what can we push out to the consumer, what do we think they need next? What tiny improvement can we make to our moisturizer and repackage and sell to everybody for $10 more? Now it's about what do the consumers want and how do we reach those niche consumers in niche spaces on digital channels, because it's so easy to find them and find what they want and find what their core values are in terms, for example, the vegan or the cruelty-free, and really target them. I definitely say having a core message and leveraging your USP is really important. We knew ours was science. We knew it was that we could prove our results. And in everything that we do, we reiterate that. And my final one, and ironic because obviously I started with celebrity with Diane Kruger, is that celebrity is good, but it's divisive. whenever Diane's first post on Instagram, I don't mind saying, very much had a lot of feedback on it, negative feedback on it, because people want to have that conversation and challenge her with that. We have rescued that slightly, but it is divisive, and it is something that I think is worth looking at, especially when you're looking at a top-down and bottom-up influencer strategy. That's me. Thank you very much, and hope you enjoy the rest of your day.